this is the Watchdog. Welcome back to Fun Watches. If watches weren't fun, you'd only need one. Today we're going to review the Naviforce NF7105. Let's start with the wrist check. I'm wearing the Spectrum Sun Cubic, and I've been too lazy to set the date because this is really March 2nd. And Grego wanted to go to the Mos Eisley Country Club, and so he wanted to borrow my Sugis 418-2 so everybody would think it was a real Rolex Daytona Le Mans. Grego said Master Skywalker asked Anakin Skywalker's Force Ghost if he could think of a fond memory of Watto for his funeral. Anakin said he remembered the time he first wrecked a pod, and Watto brushed him off, treated his wounds, and called him a stupid idiot. Luke said that was a fond memory, being called a stupid idiot? Anakin said he normally called him a steaming pile of bantha dung. Alright, let's take a look at the watch. The watch did not come in a box, but it was supposed to come with a polishing cloth, and it did not. All I have here is this unsigned warranty card and these instructions. I double checked my unboxing video. But here it is, and it's plastic, but it looks nice. And so far I've been pleased with this watch, considering it didn't cost a lot of money. This is the 5th Naviforce on my channel, and I don't know how many Richard Mille homages. Real Richard Milles are super expensive with rare materials and exotic automatic movements, with many of them being skeletonized to show off those movements. This Naviforce has nothing to show off, as it is a small second Chinese quartz movement. Unfortunately, there is a tendency among homage watches to make their quartz chronographs look like automatic chronographs by putting fake gears on the dial. Fortunately, Naviforce didn't follow that trend and gave us a dial without such fakery. The watch cost me $15 at the time of purchase and is now going for $13 during the current sale. This watch comes in a whopping 10 colorways, all with plastic cases. I chose the clear plastic, which comes in a gray strap. I could have chose the same thing, but with gilt hands and markers. I won't go over the remaining colorways, as a picture is 1,000 words, and you can see all the other colorways for yourself. The watch is 42.5 millimeters if you measure at the widest point. 50.8 millimeters lug to lug, and it does have traditional lugs. It's just this is a little bit of fakery here to make it look like they're screwed in, but they're not. They have spring bars. It's 13.6 millimeters thick, and it is 25 millimeters lug width, and it tapers down to 22 at the buckle and weighs 56 grams on the splice silicone strap. The bezel is plastic, and it's a clear plastic, and it's all attached to the case. And then we have the dial, and like I said, fortunately the dial doesn't have any fake gears and stuff to make this quartz look like an automatic. I really don't like that, not a fan of that, never have, never will be. Then we have the indices and the minute markers, and we have a 12 at the 12. We have the Naviforce name and logo printed to the right here. And then we have the skeleton hands, and they have loom tips. And then we have the running second hand that is not loomed, and it has this Naviforce counterbalance. And then we have a date at the 3 with a border. And then we have the subdials. On the bottom is the small second chronograph hand. On the left here is the chronograph minute counter. And on the top here is the chronograph sub-seconds. So yes, this chronograph has sub-seconds. Let's go ahead and press the top pusher. And as you can see, the sub-seconds runs every 2 seconds, which is fairly common on these cheap quartz watches. But unfortunately, if you look at closely at the dial, it's marked 1 to 10. Normally on a 2-second subdial, they'll mark it 1 to 10 to the 6 here, then 1 to 10 again. So this subdial is improperly marked. Press the bottom pusher to reset it, and since this is quartz and not a mecha quartz, you get a fast rewind and not an instant snapback. Then we have a signed crown. There's the Naviforce logo. And the crown action hasn't been too bad. And when you go to set it, you do get a tiny little minute hand jump. But it's not horrible. And if you're really careful, you can set it accurately. You know, that one blew it. But the thing is, the minute hand's so far from the markers, it's not that big of a deal if you miss a little bit. Then you have the pushers, and they're rectangular. Nothing special about them. And then we have the crystal. The crystal's acrylic. It is not glass. You can definitely tell when you rub your thumb against it. Now, the nice thing about acrylic is if you do scratch it, you can buff it out with some polywatch. But it is going to scratch easier, though, than glass. So, but I don't know, it's a plastic watch, so a plastic crystal kind of makes sense. Then we have the case. The case is also a clear plastic. The other colorways will be a transparent plastic, but you won't be able to see as easily as it's clear. And it looks nice, does the job, has the appropriate amount of screws. Of course, as you can tell, some of these screws are probably just fake little prop screws. Then we have the case back. The case back is held on by 4 little tiny Phillips head screws. And it says unique design, Naviforce for Dream. It gives the model number. Then it says stainless steel back. And there's no confusion in the case, which is obviously plastic. And then it says water resistant 5 ATM. So you get 50 meters of water resistance. So you should be able to swim with this, no problem. Of course, when it comes to water resistance, I don't have the equipment to test. And I just go with what they tell me. And so buyer beware. And then we have underneath the case back is the PE90 chronograph movement. This is Chinese. It's very affordable, and it's a very common small second chronograph movement. That's very common in these watches. And it didn't tell me that in the ad, so I took the case back off and saw it. Then we have the strap. The strap is silicone. And it's not bad. It's a little soft, a little squishy. You can tell it's silicone. So it's not the best grade, but I've felt worse. Both keepers are floating though. They don't have the little nibs here to keep the first keeper in place, but that's fine. Those don't work very well anyway. Then we have a steel buckle. And the prong's good. It's not all floppy. And there's plenty of holes for breathability, so you don't get all sweaty wearing this. And plenty of notches, and they're real close to each other, so you can get a good fit. Here's the watch and my 7.5-inch wrist. That looks nice. It wears nice and flat. I have 3 notches left though. It'd been nice if I had at least 4. So basically 8 1/4 is the best you're going to do. You could probably cut 1 more notch though in if you had to. But you can change the strap because it does have lugs and spring bars, but it's 25 millimeters. And so you're going to kind of have trouble with that. But you might be able to find a strap that fits. I don't know. Here we are in the loom room. Since it is a plastic watch with a silicone strap, it was comfortable enough to wear to bed. And then when I woke up in the middle of the night, I was able to read the time. As we speed up the time, we see the indices, including the 12 o'clock numeral, are fading fairly fast and will soon be gone. But the hands are much better, with the hour hand being decent. Unfortunately, the minute hand underperforms the hour hand. Still not bad considering the price of this watch. What I like about this watch, it's light and comfortable, looks nice. It has sub-seconds, so the chronograph is somewhat usable. And there's no fake gears on the dial. What are my gripes and groans? The sub-dial is marked for it to spin once a second and not once every 2 seconds. The index loom is a joke. And it said it came with a polishing cloth, but it did not. Do I recommend this watch? Sure. This watch is super light and comfortable and gives you that Richard Mille look without all those silly fake gears on the dial. Well, thank you for watching my review of the Naviforce 7105, and I'll be back with another review. Be sure and like and subscribe to my channel, and I'd like to thank my Members Choice members. There's still not a lot of you, but hopefully the list will grow one of these days. And the Members Choice watch should be open for all viewers fairly soon. I think either tomorrow or Tuesday. Bye.